This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, good morning once again. We have discussed in the previous class all the different types of testings which were not actually classified under the actual types of testings which we discussed in the last class. So, any questions from previous class before we move to new topic? No. Okay, today we are going to start a new topic and very important topic, that is software development life cycle. Okay, software development life cycle, which is talking about SDLC. Okay, SDLC in short, which is popularly known as software development life cycle. What is it talking about? To develop any software, what is its life cycle will be, how, where you will start, where it will be ended. So that full flow will be explained in the this concept, and there will be in this life cycle what are the different phases will be there, what are the different phases you will be following to develop a product. So anyone knows, computer students, what are the different phases in the software development life cycle?
Requirement collection,
Okay,
software design and coding
feasibility,
and testing, and
okay,
after that
installation and
deployment.
maintenance. Installation and maintenance.
okay. Yeah, first thing is requirement gathering. Okay, and then analysis. Okay, and then analysis, requirement gathering, analysis. Okay, next, what else? Designing,
Coding,
coding,
testing,
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 testing, analysis,
installation,
deployment, and
and
maintenance.
analysis.
Okay, deployment, maintenance. So these are the different phases we have. Sometimes you will be seeing some places these two are merged, that is also fine. Requirement gathering and analysis. Okay, so I'm mentioning separately because I want to explain few things separately as part of analysis what you do. Okay, requirement gathering. Who will gather? From where they will gather? This we discussed in the day one of class, demo class as well. So who will be gathering?
Business analyst will gather all the requirements. Sir.
Yeah, business analyst gathers all the requirements
From the client.
from the requirements from the client. What is the document is called? This anyone know? This all this flow, every one of you know, because I have already explained what happens in the flow. But why we are
Yes, sir. Yes,
discussing
sir.
this topic separately? So you need to know the documentation. What are the deliverables you will get? Okay, so these are the requirements. All the requirements of the project will be shared one shot by the client to the vendor, to the business analyst of vendor. How? In a format of BRS. Okay, BRD or BRS. What is this BRD or BRS? Business
Resource require specification.
requirements,
requirements,
Specific.
requirements document or specification.
specifications.
Okay, specification. What is this document is? It's an Excel document where it will be having listing all the requirements, means requirement ID will be there for that requirement, and then you will be having very minimal explanation about the requirement. Very minimal means max to max 2 to 3 lines of explanation you will be having about the requirement. Requirement ID, requirement title means requirement summary, and then some explanation about that requirement for all the requirements. If at all customer is having some 500 requirements, all 500 requirements will be there in this Excel sheet. Okay, now all the business requirements will be, so if at all they are not giving all the business requirements at a time, or they are giving one after another also, you can consider one business requirement will have very minimal explanation. Okay, so this business requirement document is shared to give just idea. Now based on this business requirements only, you are estimating the project plan. Okay, project planning will be done based on these business requirements only. How much, how many complex requirements are there? They give for these business requirements very rough estimations will be given by management with the help of business analyst. By talking to the client, they will be giving t-shirt sizing for these requirements. T-shirt sizing means what? Large, medium, small, like that. They will categorize these requirements. So by seeing that categorization, how many large requirements are there, how many medium requirements are there, how many small requirements are there? For each large requirement, I may require this much stuff, this much of time. So like that, based on the number of large requirements and medium requirement and small requirements, they decide on what is the project duration and all. Okay, all those things. And when you are going to do releases, all the what is the each life cycle duration, everything will be decided in the beginning based on these business requirements. Okay, you are not going to start any development or any testing with this document. Okay, you are just analyze, you got the business requirement, means all the requirements are given to the business analyst by the client. Okay, so from these business requirements, they in that requirements he will talk to client which are the priorities, means can I go in the sequence all the requirements whatever you mentioned, or you want us to define the priority for the requirements, he will ask with the client. Then client may say, yes, we have listed all the business requirements in the sequence only, you can follow that sequence, they may say, or they may tell you some priority. Okay, no, we need line number 24 should be started first, and like that sequence they will define for the all 100 or 150 or 200 requirements whatever there, they will define the priority. Means they will take first large requirements, okay, which are important requirements for them. Okay, they will take those requirements based on the priority, and once the priority is decided, which is the first priority item, he will take, business analyst will pick that one, he will read that 2 3 lines of description, because he knows already that domain and all, he will ask. Now then he will collect, he will get into the discussion with the requirement with the client for requirement elaboration. Elaboration means what? Requirement elaboration, I understand this business requirement by seeing this 2 3 lines of description. Okay, but what you want us to implement, means how it should be. You are asking for registration process. Okay, what are all the, where you want us to give this option? As soon as user launch the application, you want me to show the registration page, or in the registration page, what and all details you want us to show, what are the fields you want to, what is the information you want to collect from the user, all those things will be asked for that specific requirement. Okay, based on the priority, he will pick one of the requirement from the business requirement, and then he will talk to the client. Business analyst will talk to the client and get all the required information about each requirement. So all 150 or 200 requirements will not be developing one shot, right? It will be done step by step. If you are following agile model, there are some software development models, okay, like that. You might have seen, computer students might have studied waterfall model, V model, incremental model, iterative model, like that. There are different models. Agile model is also one of the popular model. If at all you are following agile model, you will be working cycle by cycle, which each cycle is called as sprint. Okay, that sprint duration will be 2 to 3 weeks. Consider you are working for 3 weeks. So in the 3 weeks of time, how much work can be done by the team, that much of work only will be allocated by business analyst to the team. So that means for the 3 weeks of time, which requirements can be picked by the development team and testing team, those requirements will be quickly information, and he will be ready with all the requirement documents. What are the requirements now? After explaining, after uh, doing all the once you get the all the requirement elaboration, if you do, so then based on the priority, let me restore first that point. Based on the priority decided of the business requirements, BA will pick the BRs. BR, you remember, BR is the short term of BA is business analyst, BR is business requirement. Okay, pick the BRs and interact with the customer to gather all the required information about each requirement for each requirement. What is this process is called as? You can call it as requirement elaboration or requirement. This is called requirement elicitation. Okay, there will be different methods they follow to do this requirement elicitation. How they will do? By directly meeting them, I have explained this also, or they may have like these calls only, online calls, or if client is visiting to you people, visiting us, they will we will have direct meetings. Okay, or over the phone calls also you will be having some discussions. Phone call means not like your personal phone calls and all, it will be done official calls from office itself. So via different modes you will be, it can be one-on-one session with each business person, or it can be group discussion with all the business people. It will be different modes, you will be collecting all the information from the business people for each business requirement. So all this collected information, what you should do, all the collected information about the, you will be involving into this uh, requirement, right? All this collected information about the excuse me, collected information about business requirement for about each BR must be documented, must be analyzed and documented. So where I can write this point, this one in the analysis phase I can write, that's why I mentioned separately. So here you will be putting will be all the collected information for each business requirement must be analyzed and documented properly by the business analyst, by the BA, by BA. What is the document is called as? Someone said some time back.
SRS, sir.
SRS. Okay.
Software requirement specification.
Okay. SRS. Okay, software requirement specification. There are two things. Okay, software requirement specification, and also you will be doing sometimes there will be two different documents. One is FRS. Okay, what is this FRS or FRD?
First requirement specification.
Functional
Functional.
requirement specification, functional requirement specification or document. Okay, SRS, software requirement or system requirement specification, software requirement specification. Okay, so these two documents, you know, right, some technical information also is required, uh, where technical team also will be involving and they need some domain related information. There will be in BA team also. Deepak, can you please mute your mic? So this functional requirement is talking about functional aspects, only the theoretical part, and what is the expectation out of the requirement will mention in the functional requirement specification. But SRS is going to have what are the needs and what is the database structure will be, how the architecture should be. Some technical information will also be there in the software requirement specification document. So these are two different documents. Sometimes it will be merged into single document, or you'll be having two different documents. Okay, so this also will help give more information in the implementation point of view about this functional requirement. Okay, so now what happened, BR will be derived from BR. What is derived? FRS, FR, you can say functional requirements. Okay, since I am explaining without considering any software development model, just you consider now it's a document. But nowadays everyone is using, every project is using some tools. Okay, like as I mentioned, TFS or Zira or HPALM, one or the other tool they are using. So there won't be any documents like this as I am explaining. Okay,
Sir,
almost all the projects. Yes.
sir, I have a small doubt. And BRS is also prepared by business analyst only, sir, right?
No, BRs will be given by client. So let me explain. Okay, Ramya. Oh, it's a BRs will be given by client. It's all already there. BRs will be having very limited explanation. It will be given by created by means in our tool. Who will create? Client cannot create, right? Created by us only, by our BA only, but given by client. Okay, is that clear, Ramya?
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
Okay. So these documentation, when I say document, very few projects nowadays will be following these documents. Who are doing iterative model they are following, or any other waterfall model they are following, they may prepare these documents. But mostly most of the projects will be running in agile model in the current IT world, and there will be definitely some tools as I explained. It can be any of those tools will be used there. Business analysts directly create these BRs, and by linking that BR they will create FRs, which are Some companies will call them as URs, user requirements. So one BR will be split into one or more FR or UR. Okay, that UR will be split. It can be, so in agile, other than agile model, this FR is directly a implementation aspect. Now by seeing this document, development team will the development team will start writing the coding. But in agile model, this user requirement, it's a very huge user requirement, will be split into PBI, small work items, that anyhow we will discuss in agile model. But for now here, what point you need to remember, this documentation whichever I'm telling, it need not to be a Word document like this only. Okay, like this, it can be written directly in the tool as well. You need to be clear with that point. Okay, it can be document or it will be written directly in a tool by the business analyst. Is that clear?
Sir, your voice is not audible. Can you please repeat that sentence?
All of you is the same? Everyone not able to hear me?
Not from my end, sir.
Ramya, you check your internet connection. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So what I mean, I'm repeating again, it's difficult to repeat if you have internet connection, Ramya. Please check your internet connection and have
Okay, sir.
stable network. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So here the documentation I am telling means here you need not to think it's every time one Word document will be there where business analyst will be listing all the theoretical part in this document. It need not to be document, it can be done directly in the tool as well. Okay, in a tool they can write the requirement directly in the TFS or in the Zira tool or in HPALM tool. Wherever they create the requirement, there they can write, there will be a description field which is very lengthy field. There you can write whatever content they are writing in the Word document, they can directly write in the tool as well. Okay, is that clear for everyone? Okay, moving on. So once it is documented, what need to be done before even moving on to the next phase? So something need to be done by in this analysis phase only. Some project plan should be created. Okay, some project plan should be created. So based on the requirements received by the from the business, the project management will prepare detailed project plan. Okay, what are the timelines, which technology they are going to develop the product, and how periodically we do releases, which dates, and which will be the last release, and which model you are following. All those things you will be mentioning in the project plan and send it to the business, so to the client. Then client will review the project plan what is shared by our management. Then if they are okay, they will provide the approval for that project plan. Okay, so this is done by project management. You will not be involved as a tester in this work. Okay, it will be done by project management. But you don't say like I'm not part of this one. It's actually teamwork. But now mostly your manager, project management or delivery managers will not be asking testing team to tester to tell be involved in this one. No, mostly test manager, development manager, and project whole project manager will be discussing together, and then they've come up with this project plan. Okay, by involving business analyst. He will be there for sure because he's the one who will be telling about the requirements. Is this clear, this point? So once the project plan is approved, you will be going with your all the implementation, whatever I explained in the demo class. Same way you will be going requirement by requirement. You will be developing and testing and releasing it to the customer based on the release dates what we have already communicated to the business. Roadmap will be given clearly to the client and also to us. That roadmap will be available for everyone's access. By following the roadmap, we need to develop and do the releases periodically. Okay, any questions? So there is one more thing. I'm coming back to requirement gathering. So testing team, or it can be another document will be prepared by either BA or testing team, or someone else from the project will be creating this document. It can be project manager, or it can be testing team, or BA business analyst will prepare a document called RTM. What is RTM? Anyone knows? Requirement traceability matrix. Okay, what is this document? It is an Excel sheet, Excel document, which contains all the business requirements. Why? Anyhow, there is a BRD document, right? You got already separate business requirement document. Why do we need RTM now then? Why we have all the business requirements here? By seeing this word requirement traceability matrix. So RTM normally, let me show you the example from Google. Oh, let me take anyone good one. See here, this document, if you see, let it load. So if you see, the requirement priority is also maintained here, and from which business it came, source, that business objective, what is the objective of the business with this requirement, and after that you will be having whether the FRS is prepared or not for this requirement. Okay, there will be dedicated columns in this Excel sheet where respective team members need to update their status. So FRS question mark, what does it mean? FRS for this specific business requirement, FRS is prepared or not, means the functional requirement document is created or not. Who will update that column? Yes or no, he needs to update and provide the link for that specific document. Or if it is there in the tool, provide the link to that specific requirement in the tool. Who will update it, that specific column? Who will create the FRS? It will be created by business analyst against that specific business requirement. In the specific column, business analyst need to update, yes, FRS is prepared, so this is the link. Like that. Next, tester. Developer will be starting their development, but tester will start their test case writing, right? Did you prepare the test cases or not? If it all prepared, what are the test cases you have written for that specific requirement? Okay, and like that, whether the development is which phase it is now, whether it is already designing is done or not, design is done or not, specification is mentioned or done or not, test cases are written or not. All these columns, respective member should be this specification, design, everything will be updated by business analyst, test cases will be updated by testing team, and which testing is passed or not, status, which status, requirement status, whether it is passed or failed, you need to update as a tester. And then which stage it is in UAT, yes or no, in production, yes or no. Like that, you will be tracing the whether the product is released to what is the status of the requirement, in which environment it is now currently. Everything you can track in single document. Okay, but maybe every project may not follow single same template, it will be varying, but as I mentioned just now, in single document you can track all the status of every business requirement. If you see UAT field is still not updated, and then requirement status is also not updated, what does it mean? It's still under development. Okay, still under development. If it is mentioned by testing team as requirement status as passed, what does it mean? Testing team has already validated and then it's passed. How, with what they validated, you can even see what are the test cases tester has written for this requirement. So like that, in a single document, whole project, all the team can figure out what is the current status of the requirements, how many requirements are requirement coverage they can see, and also how many requirements are released to the customer, how many requirements are still in development phase. All those things they can get to see in this single document. It is the job of every individual team to update their work status on the requirements. Okay, understood this one? So it is a team will get to can track status of the requirements, all the requirements from this single document. Okay, if at all now, if you, why you need to do this tracing, whatever test cases you are writing in this document, you are mentioning under the test cases column the test case IDs and all. Why you need to mention? If at all there is any change on the requirement, or if at all this requirement need to be executed again, which test cases need to be are related to this requirement, you need to figure out, right? So by seeing this document you can easily figure out. Again, I am coming back to our another statement what I mentioned. Again, this also need not to be a document in the current IT world, because this tracing and all can be done in the tool. You can create links. If you have created a parent as BR, under that you can create FR as a child item. Okay, for this FR you are going to create the test cases, then you can link those test cases to this FR in the tool. How we will do all those linking and all, we will learn when we come to the tool concept. Okay, when we discuss about the tool. So this document, all the tracing can also be done in the tool. If at all some projects are still maintaining this RTM, this is the purpose of the this document. You can have good traceability, which requirement belongs to which FR, which test cases are belongs to which FR. Okay, all those things you can trace out, and what is the status of each requirement till now, how many requirements are released to the business, till now how many requirements are in production, live environment. All those things you can trace in single document. Any question on this RTM document? It's an important interview question. It is a single document where entire project members, all the team members can figure out what is the current status of each business requirement. Okay. Any question? Okay. No. Okay, fine. Then moving on. So you are done with the analysis, and means business analyst has done analysis, and then what he will do in the designing phase, what he has to do? He has to explain this requirement to UI or UX designer and get the designs, right? What are those designs? So business analyst explain the requirement to, otherwise instead of telling, interact with the UI or UX designer and get the designs, mock screens, get the designs or mock screens for the requirements. Okay, so what kind of designs you may get? Again, there will be wire diagrams as well. This is about mock screens, how screen should look. In the designing phase, business analyst is also responsible to explain the to provide high level design, HLD, LLD. High level and low level designs also you should give. High level design is how all the modules are interconnected. Overall application level you need to give. That wire diagrams will be like flow diagrams kind of representation. I can show you high level and low level designs. Just give me a minute. High level design also need to be given, and if at all you specific module related requirement you are explaining, you need to also provide how it is going to impact the specific module and what is the low level design also you need to see here. It's kind of document, it's a flow chart only, but it is, see, like this kind of, see here, this is a very high level design, how it is they are integrated. All the different modules are integrated. This is from hardware point of view, but in software point of view you will be having this kind of designs, high level designs, where it will be explaining this flow. Okay, and when you come to this low level design, in this modules, one specific module, how it is going to what are the components it will have, and what are the low level like how what are the attributes each screen may display. All those things will be mentioned in the low level. Let me take, so this is how it will be. See what are the attributes will be there in the functionality. What are the attributes you will be entering? What is the data type of that each field, and what are the number of characters it may accept, size of the field, everything will be mentioned in the, this is a very small example for low level design, but this is how you will be having. See here, this is also, you will be seeing all the attributes, what is the fields for every entity it will be having. So like this, you will be having some flow charts also created by the uh, business analyst. He is responsible to give this design documents. What we call these things in general, in real time, business model documents, diagrams. Okay, business model documents, business process diagrams or business process models they call. Okay, BPD or BPM. Okay, so those things you will be having as high level and low level designs, where you will be explaining the what are the fields for every entity you will are associated, and what is the relationship between one entity to another entity. It's a one-to-one relationship or one-to-many relationship. That and all will be explained in the BPD diagrams, business process diagrams. Okay, high level, low level designs. Okay, any questions on this design? This is also he will show while explaining the requirement to. He will show these designs, he will show these mock screens, and he will explain the content of this SRS to the team members when he conduct a meeting to the with the team to explain all these requirements. Okay, what is the meeting need to be conducted by business analyst? That meeting is called what? BA conducts a
Walkthrough meetings,
walkthrough,
sir.
yeah, walkthrough meeting with the team members, with the team, and explain the requirement in detail by showing all the mock screens, showing the all the designs, sorry, designs and mock screens. Okay, then our team will be involved, entire coding development team and testing team will be involved in this. Okay, this coding is also called as, okay, implementation phase. Okay, it is in general implementation phase, it is called as coding. So before starting the development and testing activities, BA must conduct this walkthrough meeting and explain the content of the requirements by showing the designs and mock screens to the team. For a tester, this design may not be that much important. Okay, but for developer, definitely in the code they need to do the mapping, how the module, how the different modules are interconnected, all those things. Based on this domain designs only, the developer will be doing the activities. Okay, Baba, please mute your mic. So after this meeting, developers and testers will start their activities, testing activities, and development will start the coding. Okay. So as a developer, till here, any questions? No. Okay. Moving on to the implementation part. Chandrasekhar, Madhuri, Subhashini, Suhas, Sumant, are you with me? Okay, fine. So implementation, what is the implementation point of view? It's a one single statement I can say, but why we are discussing here this phase separately? So development team also need to conduct few things, few aspects, few processes they need to follow. So development team analyze the requirements and come up with their technical analysis. What is the technical analysis will be represented as? They will mention all their technical analysis, what they are going to do, which logic they are going to implement, and what code they may write. What code means not entire implementation code they will write in one document. That will be before getting into the development. They come up with their technical analysis before getting into detailed implementation. Before they get into detailed implementation, they come up with the analysis what they made. So they give this TSD document, that is technical specification document. Okay, so in this document they mention how they are going to design the database, what are the data types they are using for each column of the table. Because once you fill the form, like registration form, username, first name, middle name, last name, Gmail ID, date of birth, phone number, all those things you will fill in the form, and if it need to be, once you hit save, it will go and save in the database, right? That database structure, how it will be, what are the data types they will be using for each column, all those things they represent in this technical specification document. And also what is the core logic they are implementing, that part also they will mention in this document. Why they are creating this document? They will send it to technical architect. Okay, there will be technical architect or technical lead will be there, right? To them the developer will send this analysis to them. Then if at all they are they have analyzed something wrong and they are doing something wrong against the architecture or defined coding standards, then uh, that architect or technical lead will ask them to correct it. Okay, in this way you should not go another way. They may give also some technical inputs to the developers. Okay, this is one aspect they will do. One first thing they will do before getting into actual code writing. Okay, after that, once the testing once the developer come to done with the development, done with the implementation of a requirement, he or she needs to, what I said while explaining white box testing, what he needs to do. Architect will be telling them what and all they need to cover as part of their unit test, that they will discuss, and that will be varying from project to project. But they need to write their unit tests and and verify whether verify one second. I think you lost, the Zoom connection has been lost. Okay, sorry. Are you able to hear me? Subhashini, Chandrasekhar, Madhuri? Yeah. So once developer, so he needs to also verify himself whether he developed. Every time he will be checking whether he developed correctly or not. He will be verifying. So before once he verify, before it moved to the testing team, he needs to do some activity. Can anyone guess? Before he tested himself, he got confidence, yes, I developed correctly. Then he will not move it to directly testing team. He will do one thing. Can anyone guess what he needs to do? If you
Black box
have
testing, sir. Black box testing.
black box, yeah, that's what he will do. When I say he will verify the functionalities himself, once one round of testing he will only do on his code and on his implementation. If he is confident, that is nothing but black box from his end, but we don't call it as a developer is doing black box testing, no, but he will do that testing. But after that, I am telling, he confirmed himself, yes, I developed correctly. After that, before moving
Making
the
an exe
requirement to
file.
the, sorry, Ramya, QA.
Making an exe file, sir, for the respective code.
No, exe file, it's exe file will be there only for desktop applications. It's not true for all the applications, right? So it is a code file only. It will be part of the project. Once it is moved to the server and it is checked into the QA server, it will be available for the testing team. Okay, once you save the code to the server, QA server, it will be, once you save to the development server, from there if you push to deployment team will push to testing environment, then you can see those new features. So before even pushing that requirement to the testing team, before developer check in his code to the development server, means before he confirm and check in to the code, if we check in, next time when we take latest build, it will appear here. Before even checking the code to the server, what he needs to do in his local, he needs to show to whom? He needs to show the implementation to whom?
business analyst.
Yes. So that's, he has to, developer needs to have a quick demo with the business analyst to get some, to get his or her feedback on the implementation. Okay, develop business analyst will not be looking at the code and all. Okay, he will not look at the code and all. He will be just looking at the, he will run the functionalities, developer will run the functionalities and show, okay, this is how it is working. This is how UI I have developed. Do you have any comments? Then BMA, if he is having any comment, can you increase the font size of this specific text, and can you move this to little bit left side, and can you and this functionality error message whatever you are showing is not as per the requirement, please correct that error message. Like that, he will give some feedback to the developer and he make those changes and then move it to the testing environment. Understand? So they will give, this is a process. I'm not telling every project will definitely follow all these things. It's a process, but they may or may not follow. Okay, all of you clear? Okay, so once it is done, if there are no comments, once the demo comments from BA are addressed by the developer, he or she will save the code, check in the code and push it to push the latest. I'm telling push the latest, it is actually done by either testing team can take the latest in the testing environment, means they can take the new build, or deployment team, there will be a release management team, I said, right? They will do, or one of the developer will push the latest code to testing environment. Anyone can, if testing lead is trained how to take the new build, he can also do that himself. But otherwise, in most of the projects, it will be done by the developers. They will, once they check in the code and push the latest code to testing environment. Okay, then what you will do, testing team will start validating it. But since as I am explaining one by one phase, do you think testing phase will start only after implementation? Yes, some models, waterfall model, if you consider, yes, it is true. But in all the models, it is not like that. In all the, if you take agile model or if you take iterative model, it's not like that. Though I am explaining testing phase after implementation, you are part of the project already. You will be doing your testing activities simultaneously along with the development team. What are those activities? At least now you tell after 8-9 classes. What are those activities tester will be doing by the time developer completes the development of a requirement? Yeah, you need to first, I did not tell that one. Testing team, I will anyhow explain in detail tomorrow from here. So testing team will come up with the plan for that specific cycle, for that specific period of time, 3 weeks or 1 month or 40 days, whatever period of time, how they are going to do their testing activities, who will do what, by when we complete what, and full complete testing will be completed by when. You'll be planning the testing activities, that is test plan. And then you will be getting into analysis of the requirement and writing the test cases and getting them reviewed. And then once the latest code is pushed to testing environment, you will validate the requirement. So that we will discuss in detail tomorrow from here. Yes, yes, go on. Someone was asking question. No. Okay, so that's all for today. Please let me know if you have any
Excuse me, sir.
questions from the previous. Yes, Deepak.
Sir, could you tell me the full form of UX?
User experience,
Okay, sir. Okay. Yes, sir.
user
Thank you, sir.
interface, user experience.
Excellent. Okay, sir. Okay.
Sir, when does the CRS will be given to us, sir?
CRS,
Yeah.
it's CRS, change request.
The customer requirement. Oh, sorry. That's same BRS. Sorry. SRS.
Change request. Yeah, SRS will be given by BA before we start development, right? Based on the
Okay.
priority for that specific cycle. When you are starting 1 month of period, you have decided, and tomorrow onwards new cycle is starting, which
Mm-hmm.
requirements are decided for implementation based on the priority by the business analyst. For those
Mm-hmm.
requirements, all the documents will be given.
Okay.
By the time BA could have already completed the walkthrough session.
Okay.
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 Someone said CR by mistake, but CR is also a valid term. That is a change request. Change request, we use that word, it will come as a requirement document only again. But when something be implemented, but customer also mentioned same way in the beginning, but later on customer himself realized, I don't want, I mentioned something wrong, we need to correct this area, this specific requirement, and we need to do in different way. Like that, if he ask, then that will be considered as a change request from the client, and BA will create another requirement for that specific change what is asked by customer, and then it will be explained to the team and it will be addressed in the similar way. Okay, change request is also will come when customer himself want to change the requirement which is already implemented. Any other questions from this, whatever we discussed? So actually, I'm asked to stop at exactly at 8:30 because some people are having offices or some other work, it seems. So that's why I'm not extending. I was taking initially for till 9 o'clock, but I got from institute. It should be stopped by 8:30. Okay. So fine, we'll meet tomorrow. If no questions, I'll close the session for today, and that's all for